Okay.
Hello and good morning, and welcome to our forum titled Is Zero Waste Living a Realistic Goal in Modern Urban Societies? My name is Ahmad Amin and I'll be your host in today's discussion. Zero waste living is a movement aimed at eliminating waste by rethinking resource life cycle. While many see this as a hopeful response in climate change and urban pollution, others question whether it is practical within the structure of modern city life. Today, our objective is to explore this issue from multiple perspectives, understand whether zero waste living is feasible or just an idealism. But before we begin, let's get to know our panelists. Let's start with our first panelist, Mr. Alif Dupalka. He's a youth representative and student activist. Next to him is Dr. Nuruddin. He's an urban planner and community sustainability consultant. And to my left is our third panelist, Ms. Patisha. She's an advocate for environmental sustainability. And lastly, our fourth panelist, Mr. Sir Lufir Rahman. He's a representative for Urban Green. Alright, before we start, here how this forum will be going. There will be two rounds. First round, each panelist will be given uninterrupted time to speak. And in the second round, each panelist will be question each other. And finally, we'll end with Q&A from our audience. Alright, let's start our first round. I'll be asking each panelist a question based on their expertise. Starting off with Mr. Alif. As a youth representative, do you believe zero waste living is a realistic goal for people of your age living in urban environment today?
Thank you for inviting me to Sapa. Thank you for inviting me to this forum today, and it's a great honor to sit with all panelists. So back to the question, from my perspective as youth representative and urban resident, I believe that zero waste is not yet fully realistic, but it doesn't mean we can work toward it. Let's be honest, in our daily routine, whether we are students, part-time worker, or young people, we all of us face a real limitation. For example, we are really packaged on packaged food because it's more affordable and convenient. Bulk store or zero waste refill stations are usually located in specific area, often far from our campus or house. Even if we went to the shop sustainability, the infrastructure just isn't always there. On top of that, affordability is a real issue. Usable items like stainless steel large box, eco brand, or biodegradable product are usually cost more upfront. For students managing a tight budget, it's become a barrier. And while many of us aware of the climate issue, we may not always show how to apply the zero waste practice effectively in everyday life. But despite this challenge, I believe that we should not focus on the idea of zero waste. Instead, we should focus what is feasible, low waste living, where we reduce our waste as much as possible based on our means and circumstances. Many of young people are doing the creative way, like using a second-hand clothes, saying no to the plastic straw, carrying usable water bottle, and joining zero waste challenger on social media. This small step might seem minor, but they build habit and awareness. When one person does it, others follow. That's that's how change begins. What we need now is support from the system. If university can provide proper recycle bins, compost program, and refill station, and if government offer the tax and subsidy sustainability product, then zero waste become more accessible. Not just for wealthy and eco-elite, but for all of us. Education play a role too. Campaign, workshop, and school program can normalize sustainability practice from young age. So in the conclusion, I don't think zero waste living is fully realistic for most youth in modern urban setting today, especially without structured support. But I do believe it is a realistic goal for the future. And young people already show the willingness and creativity needed to bring us in the directions. If we are support and empower, we can make zero waste more than just a dream. It's become a new norm. That's all.
Thank you, Salih. I see that in the future, zero waste can become new norm if it was supported. But for now, we are structural support. Zero waste living isn't fully realistic. Okay, moving on to Dr. Nuruddin. Dr. Nuruddin, as an urban planner and community sustainability consultant, how do you see the feasibility of zero waste living in modern urban societies? Is it a realistic goal or more of an idealistic vision?
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for the opportunity for me to contribute to this important discussion. As an urban planner and community sustainability consultant, I approach this topic from a system level perspective, looking at how our cities are designed, how the policies are shaped, and how the community function within them. Zero waste living at its core. It's about redesigning the system to eliminate the very concept of waste. Moving is about moving from a linear take, make, and dispose model to a circular economy where resources are reused, repaired, and regenerated. Now, is this an easy goal in modern urban society? No. But it is realistic. In a qualified sense, yes. Individual behavior matter, but it's urban infrastructure, policy, framework, and business system that determine whether a city enable or obstruct the zero waste efforts. Let me give you some examples. Cities like San Francisco and Ljubljana in Slovenia has made a remarkable effort towards zero waste progress. San Francisco diverts nearly 80% of its waste from landfill through city-mandated composting and recycling. Ljubljana became the first EU capital to adopt zero waste strategy thanks to aggressive separation at source, community outreach, and clear ban on incineration. But what do these cities have in common? Strong public policy, consistent funding, integrated waste system, and most importantly, community buy-in. These are not accidental successes. These are result of intentional urban planning through that align zoning, transport, housing, and waste infrastructure to support circular systems. However, we cannot ignore the challenges in highly dense urban area, especially in rapid growing cities in global south. Informal housing, inconsistent service provision, and underfunded municipal system present a huge barrier. Even in developed cities, overconsumption, single-use packaging, and planet obsolescence continue to undermine progress. Add to that issue of the equal equity, zero waste program must be inclusive and accessible. Without thoughtful policy design, we risk placing an unfair burden on lower income communities to do more with less, while the system around them stay unchanged. So, is zero living realistic? It's depend not on individual alone, but on whether our urban planning, infrastructure investment, and policy making are aligned with circular economy policy principle. We need to shift our question from asking can individual live zero waste to how can cities enable zero waste system for everyone. This means redesigning our cities not just for efficiency, but for regeneration, supporting reuse center, repair cafe, composting hub, and circular supply chains embedded in our urban daily life. In summary, zero waste is not just a personal commitment. It's a design challenge, and as an urban planner and sustainability expert, it's a challenge we must rise to together. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nuruddin. You emphasized that zero waste is a systemic issue, not a personal one. For example, like San Francisco and Ljubljana, they show that strong policy, infrastructure, and community support are the key for zero waste living to be feasible. Okay, next we'll be hearing from Ms. Pratisha. As environment advocates, many people feel discouraged when they can't fully commit to zero waste lifestyle. From your idealistic point of view, what would you say to those who think it's all for or nothing?
So good day, Mr. Moderator, and a very good morning to all the panelists and the audiences. I'm so honored to be one of the panelists in this conference. I am here as an environmental advocate, speaking from the perspective of idealism in everyday life. So let's begin with defining what zero waste actually means. So zero waste living refers to a lifestyle where individuals aim to send no waste to a landfill and incinerators. Instead, they reduce what they consume, they reuse what they can, they recycle responsibly, and also they compose organic matter. Now, many ask, is this truly realistic in our modern, fast-paced urban world? I stand here to say yes, it is. Maybe not a perfect zero waste, but a drastically low waste lifestyle where it's not only possible, it is essential. So let me explain why. My first point is zero waste is a mindset, not a measure of perfection. Too often people give up on sustainable habits because they think that their efforts are not enough. But idealism teaches us that doing something is always better than doing nothing. Zero waste doesn't require a perfect plastic-free life. It starts with small everyday choices like carrying a reusable bag, refusing plastic straw, and also buying in bulks and compost food scraps. So these actions may seem minor, but they add up over time. Most importantly, they help individuals to become more mindful consumers, questioning their purchasing habits and environmental impact. In this way, zero waste is not just about managing trash, it is about changing the way we think. So, I work with local communities and schools to raise awareness on sustainable living, and I believe that environmental change starts with individuals' choices. That's why I speak from a place of idealism, because I have seen how practical it can be when idealism meets action. So, therefore, zero waste is not about being perfect, it is about being uses use vegetable instead of plastic wrap one. It is the students that refill a water bottle every day. It is the family that compose food scraps instead of tossing them. So these are simple acts, but idealism teaches us that small actions repeated daily lead to transformation. So what seems idealistic today becomes the norm tomorrow. I think that is all. I pass back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nisha. You emphasize that zero-waste living is a mindset, not about being perfect. Simple choice like using bags or avoiding plastic show how small consistent action can lead to a real change. Through idealism, this habit reflects personal responsibility and the belief that today's small effort can shape tomorrow's norm. Finally, let's hear from Sir Lutfi Rahman, giving the many practical challenge of implementing zero waste strategies in modern cities. How do you believe idealistic thinking can drive systemic change and ensure that zero waste initiatives remain both ambitious and socially equitable?
Okay, first of all, good day to our moderator, our panelists, and also our guests. Thank you for having me as an urban green association. Speaking from the idealistic side of the important discussion on whether zero waste living is a realistic goal for our modern urban society. Now I know that zero waste can sound overwhelming, especially when you live in a fast-paced city such as Malaysia. Where everything is packed and made for convenience. So when you live in this kind of area, it's something like it's everything need to be fast. So it's need to use a lot of energy. But I want to share my belief that idealism has a very real and necessary place in this conversation. By speaking with the key idea, which is real lasting change start with idealistic thinking. Think about many of the environmental protection. We actually take this for granted, such as clean air laws, ban on plastic bags, bike-friendly cities, and recycling system. This actually take a lot of time to build this type of system, but it didn't happen overnight. Like we sleep tonight and tomorrow everything just happen. It's not something like that. It needs times to grow. So things like this, it didn't happen. When they began with people who believe in the world could be better even when it didn't seem possible. Zero waste living in the same category. When we talk about clean air, such as clean air, to achieve this type of environment, we need to have lower factory like big factory, but we can produce lower income from the factory, but from what we need to achieve, we need to sacrifice a lot of things. So it may seem far-fetched right now, but that's only because our current system are built for waste. So, when a country is building, they start with a system like we need to stick with this system. Same goes to zero waste. It actually didn't start with the system like it built for waste. It actually need more idea to build in the future. Just take a walk around modern city. Single-use plastic is everywhere. For example, food comes in the packaging, and most people don't even have access to composting or refill option. Plastic bags is one of the main problems in every country. For example, in Europe, about 180 plastic bags used for each convenience store. So when the usage of the plastic bags increase, the waste of the plastic also increase, because 86% of the plastic bags is actually one-time use. So it's actually can be recycled, but people just take things like, oh, I can just buy another one after this. That's why it was designed that way, because people always think the same. But idealism says we can actually redesign it. What if cities had refill station in every supermarket? So for example, oil from a bottle, which is every time you use up the oils, you can just throw away the bottles. But what if the government makes a refill station in the supermarket, which is you can just skip and use the bottle that you bring with a lower price from the consumption of plastics. So it's actually benefit both towards you and also towards government. And this idea may sound like a dream now, but all the progress start with a vision. You know, without a vision, we're gonna stuck in the same place. We're gonna there's another point that's we're gonna move forward. Because of idealism, we can now overlook towards the other points. The second one is sustainability must be fair and inclusive. It's not enough to say go zero waste and expecting everyone to buy expensive metal straw and also shop at Nishi Eco Zero Waste store. You know, this kind of things is actually came from ourselves. For example, if you're born in a rich family, they think that buying something like eco-friendly things is cheap for them, but not in rural area like in a village. The thing is, you need to work for zero waste in yourself, not just spending your money into buying something that you didn't even need to buy. I also make some research about a village, which is the village is very far from the city. They didn't have connection to buy necessary item for recycle, but they use their mind to produce their own bottles, such as they didn't even use plastic bottles, whether a metal one or plastic. They use plant-based bottle, which is they made from a bamboo. It's kind of, it's kind of traditional, but it's really helps in preventing the waste of the plastic, and also the cost for creating something like a metal water bottle is totally reduce the cost of it. It's actually giving benefit for both sides, for the production and also for the people there. This idea may sound also like a dream, but all the progress start with a vision. Without this, it's not necessary for you to buy something expensive to show off to others, but just buy something that necessary for you. So this also can avoid a lot of waste for resources. Yet these people usually left out from the bigger zero waste conversation, which often dominated by influencer and also high-end eco product. Idealism also fixed that it pushed us to imagine a world where everyone has access to sustainable choice. Which is, for example, we take each person which has a pair of shoes, and each pair of shoes, if it's worn out, you just can throw it. But if you repair it, it's gonna cost less amount from you just buying a new one. So you can just reuse things that can be reused. Like, you don't need to just throw it away. You can just repair it if it was broken. That also can lower household product when sustainability become a right, not a luxury. that's when the idea of zero waste start to take shape. When you make when this idealism is actually inspiring action. So an action can cause works like behind youth movement, grassroots campaign, and local reforms. So when people say is zero waste realistic in the city, I will say it's not perfectly zero waste, but striving toward it, absolutely yes. So I think that's all.
Okay, thank you, Sir Rahman. That's long one. You've shown us that additive is a driving force behind the change from reducing waste in our city to making sustainability accessible for all. A better future begins with bold ideas and inclusive action. Okay, moving on. Okay, moving on to the second round. In this round, each panelist will be asked a question by other panelists. You have 4 minutes to respond. Let's begin with Ms. Latisha. Do you have any question you like to pose?
Okay, so I have a question for Benjamin. Mr. Ali, in cities it can be hard to live a zero waste lifestyle, especially because of things like no bus stores or composting system. So, do you think it is realistic to a city to encourage a zero waste lifestyle instead of full zero waste? What are some small steps or policies that cities could take right now?
Thank you for the question. I personally believe that maybe full zero waste is a powerful idea, but in a practical term, especially in urban life, low waste living is more realistic and inclusive starting point. In the city, we face a clear limitation. For example, not everyone has access to bulk store or time to DIY everything. Composting isn't available in many apartments, and a lot of sustainable products still cost more, which can discourage everyday people, which is students and low-income residents, from committing to the lifestyle. So instead of focusing only on perfection, I think we should support realistic, small-scale policy that help more people reduce waste bit by bit. First of all, we can provide a proper recycling station and clean infrastructure in public space, schools and residential areas. The second, encouraging reusable container system at local cafe where customer can return cup or container. And lastly, offering the subsidies or discount for people who use the public transport, bring their own container and use the reusable refilling station. This more achievable step that make sustainable living possible and accessible. Once people realize that they can reduce waste without changing their whole lifestyle, and they will be more open to going further. So yes, zero waste might not fully realistic today, but cleaner, low waste city is absolutely possible if we focus on making small change easier for everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Salih. I hope that answered your question, Mr. Adija. Now moving on, Mr. Lutfi. Do you have any question?
Yeah, I have a question for our panelists, which Dr. Some critics argue that focusing on systematic change takes too long and that individual action like refusing plastic or composting at home can drive a more immediate impact. And how can cities balance both personal responsibilities and also system-wide transformation?
Thank you, Mr. Lutfi, for the thoughtful question. It's a crucial one. I fully agree that individual actions matter, but when someone choose to carry reusable bag, say no to single-use plastic or compost their food waste, it's not meaningless. It set a cultural tone and raised awareness. These actions are spark that ignite a broader movement. But there's the key point. Individual action alone will never be enough if the system around us remain fundamentally wasteful. For example, a person can try to live zero waste, but if their city doesn't offer composting service, bulk stores, or safe cycling roads to reduce transport emission, they are swimming upstream. So it's not an either or. The most successful zero waste cities like San Francisco and the Jogja combine strong public participation with supportive infrastructure. That's where urban planning come in. We need to make sustainable choice that easy default one. Think of it this way. Individuals' actions can lead the charge, but only systemic change can carry the weight of long-term transformation. Our goal should be to design cities where doing the right thing isn't just possible, it's convenient, affordable, and supported by the policy. In short, individual responsibility and system-wide change must go hand in hand. Citizens like the spark, but it's up to the planner, policymaker, and community leader to build the fire.
Thanks, Dr. Jurudin. I hope that clear things up for you, Mr. Sylvie. Next, Mr. Alif, would you like to pose a question that you want to?
I just need to ask Ms. Patricia. So, from your perspective, how can individual habit or choice spark wider change in society that often wait for action from government? Can personal responsibility really lead collective progress?
Right, so thank you for the question. To answer, one of the most empowering messages that idealism teaches is that you don't need to be in a position of power to lead change. In fact, idealism sees leadership not as something that are granted by a title or position, but as something that practiced through everyday action. So, every zero waste in a modern urban society where it often feels like the government, the big corporations, or a system should take the lead on sustainability, people tend to say it's not my job. But idealism says the opposite. It says start with yourself, lead by example. So every zero waste decision we make, no matter how small it is a form of quiet leadership. Choosing to bring your own lunch in a reusable container, reducing plastic cutlery at takeout restaurant, or even simply picking up litter on your walk to school might seem unremarkable, but it sends clear message to others that you care. Another example that I can give is you choose to turn off lights when you leave a room. You choose to bring a bag when shopping, and also say no to things that hurt the planet. You are making difference. So other people might notice and think, if they can do it, maybe I can too. So this is how change spread one person at a time. It's like planting a seed. You act kind, responsible, and also with purpose. You will plant seeds of hope and good habit in others. They may start doing the same, and also the other people will follow. Before long, a whole group, school, or a community will begin to change. So, you don't need to be famous, rich, or powerful to lead. You just need to be care enough to act. And if you believe that you live a life, whether it is protecting the environment, being honest and helping others, that's a real leadership. And leadership through idealism is not about telling people what to do. It is about showing them what's possible. It is about proving that living your own values can inspire others to live their too. So, as a conclusion, you may not be able to fix every problem in the world, but you can choose to
finally, let's hear from Dr. Nuruddin. Do you have any question?
So look, you spoke about big things like compost bin on every block and packaging free stock. How realistic are these ideas for dense and fast-paced cities where space and funding are limited?
Okay, that's a very fair question for that. And I understand the concept implementing large-scale change like compost bin and zero packaging stock in crowded urban environment can definitely seem like a stretch, especially there's a lot of house traffic and also public safety. But here's the thing, what about it start with a small matter like a single pilot project in a neighborhood, which is just a small project, and then it will grow over time. So, for example, in Seoul they have community food waste bin, and also in Amsterdam they have packaging free shop in their country. They show that this thing is possible, not something that impossible to achieve. This also makes a funding concern Israel from the government, which is from the council and government from their spending millions on producing waste disposal and landfill management. What about cut half of the fund towards the waste prevention strategies? If not impossible, but requires planning and public supports. It also gives hope for key for this kind of change to happen. That's all.
You appreciate the answer, Sir Luki. I hope that addressed your concern. Okay, now let's open our discussion, our Q&A session from our audience. Please state your name and direct your question to a specific analyst, or you may have it open to anyone. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, thank you for the insightful question. Sirakap is clear that service leading in city is not one such answer. It's a layer issue involving commitment, urban planning, behavior change, and economic policy. To our panelists, thank you for thoughtful perspective, and to our audience, thank you for your attention. We hope today's forum spark more discussion, more ideas, and most importantly, more action. Have a nice